So Zohran Mamdani, with a 9-point victory over Andrew Cuomo, is going to be the next mayor of New York City. He's also going to be the first Muslim mayor. But why, despite all the controversy and all the claims, did he actually do really well with the Jewish vote? Zohran Mamdani, on no uncertain terms, made it clear he's not the biggest fan of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, where they're definitely not going to be shooting hoops together in New York City anytime soon. And in fact, Zohran said if Netanyahu comes to New York City, he'll jail him. Because that Andrew Cuomo thought the Jewish vote would be his ticket to winning the Democrat nomination, also the general election, because New York City is 14% Jewish for its voter base, but it just didn't happen that way. On surface, Andrew Cuomo did win the Jewish vote, where he got 63% of it versus Zohran at 33%, and the rest went for Curtis Lewa. But looking at it, it gets a lot more complex. And that's because there's different types of Jewish people out there, where there's more conservative types who recognize themselves as Orthodox and Hasidic, but then there's more moderate Jerry Seinfeld type Jewish people that are the majority of the population. And Zohran definitely didn't do well with the Orthodox or Hasidic population, where 90% of them voted for Cuomo. Remove the Orthodox and Hasidic from the equation and just focus on the moderate Jews, Zohran did really, really well. He got 50% of the vote versus Andrew Cuomo at 46%. So yes, Zohran Mamdani actually did win the Jewish vote. Playing this, it's very clear that not a lot of Jewish Americans really care that much about the Israel-Palestine issue, with a big example being Donald Trump, who in 2024 ran saying he was Israel's man. Then when the election came, Donald Trump only got 21% of the Jewish vote, 79% voted for Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris was by no means anti-Israel, but she was also not nearly as pro-Israel as Donald Trump was. To give an idea of how bad that 21% really was for Donald Trump, when he announced he was running for president in 2015, he said Mexico wasn't sending their best and brightest to America, but in 2024, he actually got 48% of the Mexican-American vote. The other thing that really helped Zohran out was women. Andrew Cuomo had 6 accusers. That's why he had to resign as being governor of New York, and yet he still tried to run for mayor. Now, at the same time, 84% of women ages 18 to 30 in New York City voted for Zohran in the general election, and also Jewish women do tend to vote more than Jewish men, with 74% of them turning out to vote versus 63% for men, so that definitely helped Zohran get an advantage when it came to voters that were Jewish. And there's also another big thing Zohran had going for him, and that's that a lot of Jewish people are very moderate when it comes to the faith. Obviously, you have much more conservative people, but most Jewish people see it more as an ethnicity, and many of them are actually atheists. And even if they do go to synagogue, it's more of this cultural thing versus an actual religious thing. So because of that, they don't pass that into how they vote. Perhaps the best thing that helped Zohran at the end of the day was Andrew Cuomo, because when Cuomo ran around campaigning, he really tried to solicit these Jewish people saying, oh, vote for me because the other guy is Zohran, meaning vote for me because the other guy is a Muslim. And yeah, a lot of people didn't bite for it. There's tons of Jews in New York City who have Muslim best friends. There is this great culture that is united in New York City, and Cuomo really wasn't promoting that. And honestly, he just came off as a very empty suit trying to sway votes that way. I didn't vote for him. I would have definitely preferred Cuomo over him, but Cuomo really sucked at campaigning and he was very desperate. And this guy did do a much better, much more energized campaign. That's why I won. And with that, Red, Blue, and You, Charles Pearl, subscribe, learn something.